Okay, so have you ever noticed how December basically turns into like donation overload?
Oh, yeah, it's like the donation request frenzy hits hard.
Seriously,
Yeah.
my inbox is just flooded with these end-of-year appeals.
It's no surprise, though, a ton of nonprofits really rely on that December giving push.
Right, like I think it's something crazy like 30% of their budgets depend on it.
Yeah, you're right. It is a big chunk of their funding. But here's the thing, get this.
What is it?
So even though December is like the month for giving, donations actually dipped last year.
Really?
Yeah, year-end donations took a 2.8% nosedive in 2023.
Wow, that's wild. I thought everyone was all about giving during the holidays.
You'd think so, right? It's interesting, though. It seems like the whole traditional year-end fundraising thing might be losing its mojo.
Hmm. So is everyone just turning into a Scrooge?
Not necessarily. I think it's a bit more complicated than that. The way people give is changing.
Yeah, makes sense. People are busy, things are different.
Exactly. And when you've got this avalanche of donation requests all hitting you at once in December, it can lead to something we call donor fatigue.
Okay. Donor fatigue. I could see that. It's like when you eat too much of your favorite food, you get sick of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's overload. So, instead of one giant push in December, the idea of year-round fundraising is getting more attention.
So instead of cramming it all into one month, you spread it out throughout the year.
That's the idea. It creates more of a steady stream of donations for nonprofits and takes the pressure off donors. No more donation guilt trips right before you're trying to enjoy the holidays.
That makes sense. So less pressure, more consistent giving. But does it actually work? Like, does it actually bring in more money overall?
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Monthly donors, those who give a little bit each month, they actually end up donating a lot more than one-time donors. We're talking 42% more annually.
Wow, 42%. That's huge. So it's not just about spreading out donations, it's actually increasing them. But why? Is it just because it's easier to budget smaller amounts?
It's definitely part of it, yeah. Smaller amounts feel less intimidating than one big lump sum, but it goes deeper than that. It's about building a relationship.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this relationship aspect.
So think of it like this. A one-time donation is kind of like ordering takeout. It gets the job done, but it's a quick transaction. Monthly giving is more like having a regular dinner with a close friend.
Okay, that's a good analogy. So regular donations help build a stronger bond between the donor and the organization.
Exactly. It's about being consistently present, communicating regularly, and seeing the impact of your contributions over time.
I get that. But sometimes too much communication can be a bit much, right? Like, I appreciate updates, but I don't need a play-by-play of everything that's happening.
Yeah, you don't want to be bombarded with information. No one wants a flooded inbox with generic messages. It defeats the purpose of building a genuine connection. And this brings up another interesting point, digital tools.
Oh, yeah, digital tools. That's a whole other conversation. On one hand, I love how easy it is to donate online or through text-to-give campaigns.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it can feel a bit impersonal sometimes, like you're just a number on a spreadsheet.
I hear you, there's definitely that risk. But it's not the technology itself that's the problem, it's how we use it. It's kind of like those fancy kitchen gadgets you see. A blender is great for smoothies, but get a little too enthusiastic and you've got a mess everywhere. Digital tools are the same, they're great, but you got to use them right.
Right, okay. Less of a smoothie explosion in my inbox, more of a carefully crafted donation experience. So how do we make sure these digital tools are actually helping us connect with donors on a deeper level?
Well, you got to think personalization and strategy, not just blasting out the same message to everyone. There's some cool platforms out there that are changing the game. Have you heard of Help You Sponsor?
Help you sponsor? Yeah, I think I've seen ads for that.
Yeah.
What's so special about it?
So imagine you're a nonprofit, right? You don't have a huge staff, but you've got a growing list of donors to keep track of. Help You Sponsor swoops in and helps you manage everything. It lets you organize your donors into groups so you're not sending everyone the same generic email. It even tracks their preferences so you know who wants to see those cute cat videos and who prefers, like, a deep dive into your impact report. And the best part, it can automate personalized messages.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
But doesn't automation sound a bit, I don't know, impersonal? Like, I'd rather get a handwritten note than a robot email, even if it has my name on it.
I get it, but automation doesn't have to be soulless. Think about it. You can write a really genuine, heartfelt thank you note, and then with automation, you can send that same message to like 100 people instantly, and each one is personalized with their name and their donation history. It frees you up to focus on building those really personal relationships with your major donors.
Okay, that makes sense. It's not about replacing humans with robots. It's about using technology to scale that human touch and reach more people. So with year-round fundraising, we're using these tools to connect with people all year, not just hitting them up in December.
Exactly. It's a totally different approach. But even with the best tools, you need a solid plan, right? How do you map out a whole year of fundraising? It sounds kind of daunting.
It does, yeah. I mean, I can barely plan my meals for the week, let alone an entire year of fundraising.
hmm
Where do you even start?
Well, think of it like creating a roadmap, not climbing Mount Everest. First things first, you got to know where you're going. What are your big fundraising goals for the year? What programs are you funding? What impact are you aiming for?
So figure out the why before the how.
Exactly. Then you can start mapping out the route. Maybe you kick things off in the spring with a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign.
Peer-to-peer. For those of us who aren't fluent in fundraising lingo, what does that even mean?
Oh, good point. It's basically when you get your supporters to become fundraisers themselves. Think of it like a digital walkathon. People share their stories, create donation pages, and reach out to their own networks to raise money for your cause. It's a great way to reach new people and build a sense of community.
So it ties in with that whole relationship building aspect we were talking about. Peer-to-peer in the spring. What's next on the roadmap?
Well, summertime is perfect for social media challenges. You know, those fun viral campaigns where people nominate their friends to do something silly like a dance challenge and then donate?
Oh yeah, those are always fun to see.
Right. It's a great way to ride that summer energy and get people excited about supporting your mission. Then, as you move into fall, you might shift focus to cultivating those major donors.
The folks who have the potential to make those big, impactful contributions.
Exactly. It's about building those really strong relationships, understanding their philanthropic goals, and showing them how their support can make a lasting impact.
It's like philanthropic matchmaking, connecting passionate donors with the perfect causes.
Uh-huh. I love that. And then, of course, you've got your end-of-year campaign in December, but it's not your only shot anymore. It's like the grand finale of a year-long fundraising symphony.
I like that. So no more putting all your eggs in one basket, right? But wouldn't this year-round approach put a lot more strain on your staff?
You know, that's a common concern, but remember we talked about resource optimization? Instead of cramming everything into December, you're spreading it out over the year.
So it's less of a frantic sprint and more of a marathon you can pace yourself for.
Bingo. And that means less burnout, better planning, and more room to try new things. It's working smarter, not harder. Remember, the goal is to build something sustainable that benefits both your organization and your donors in the long run.
This is all making so much sense. But for someone who's used to that traditional December giving model, where do they even begin to shift to a year-round approach?
Well, a great first step is setting up a recurring giving program. Make it easy for people to sign up on your website through emails, social media, the whole nine yards.
And keep it simple,
Yeah,
right? No one wants to jump through hoops to donate.
totally. And think about your online presence. Are you using tools like text to donate and those platforms that streamline the donation process?
So basically, making sure your online donation experience is super user-friendly, especially on mobile.
Yep. You want people to be able to donate easily from anywhere on any device. And don't forget about engaging with your donors throughout the year.
Keeping them in the loop about the impact of their donations.
Exactly. Share impact reports, newsletters, maybe some behind-the-scenes sneak peeks of your work. And always remember to say thank you.
It all comes back to those relationships, doesn't it?
It always does. And remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Start small, experiment, and see what works best for your organization and your supporters. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
You've given us a lot to think about. I feel like I have a much better grasp on year-round fundraising now.
I'm glad to hear that. It's something I'm really passionate about, and I think it can be a real game changer for nonprofits.
Okay, before we move on, one last question. What happens to those big December appeals? Are they gone forever in this new model?
Not necessarily. They just might look a little different.
Oh, okay. How so?
Instead of being the main event, those December appeals become more like another chapter in a story you've been telling all year.
So it's less about hitting people up out of the blue and more like reconnecting with folks who are already invested.
Right. You've already built that relationship. You've been communicating all year. So those year-end appeals can focus on celebrating the progress you've made together, sharing inspiring stories, maybe highlighting some urgent needs that could really use a boost.
Okay, I'm seeing the difference. But what about those matching gift campaigns? The ones where like every donation gets doubled? Those always seem to do really well during the holidays.
Oh yeah, matching gifts are definitely a powerful strategy. But, in a year-round model, you might sprinkle those in throughout the year instead of just concentrating them in December.
Hmm, I like
Uh,
that. So maybe a smaller matching campaign to go along with that spring peer-to-peer event we talked about. Another one for a specific program in the summer, and then a bigger one at the end of the year.
Exactly. It keeps things fresh, gives donors more opportunities to maximize their impact, and, prevents that one and done feeling.
Okay, I'm really starting to see the potential here.
Yeah.
But let's say I'm a donor who's used to just making that one big donation in December. How would you encourage me to shift my thinking to this year-round giving model?
Well, I'd say think about the causes you're truly passionate about, the ones that really resonate with you. Now imagine being able to support them not just once a year, but every single month.
Okay, I'm with you.
Think about the impact you could make consistently, reliably. It's like being a true partner, walking alongside those organizations every step of the way, not just showing up once a year.
Wow, that's a powerful image. It's about being more deeply engaged, more connected to the journey.
Absolutely. And with those recurring donations, even a small amount each month can make a big difference over time.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Uh-huh, exactly. It's all about finding that giving level that feels good for you, something you can sustain. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
You've given us a lot to think about today. I really appreciate all these insights, but I have to admit, it's a little overwhelming thinking about shifting my entire giving strategy. Where do I even begin?
Don't worry, you don't have to go from 0 to 60 overnight. Remember, small steps lead to big changes. Maybe start by picking one organization you really care about and see if they have a monthly giving option.
Great advice. It's about making giving a natural part of your life, not just another task on your holiday to-do list.
Yes, exactly. And remember, every contribution matters, whether it's $5 a month or 5,000. It's the thought behind it, that commitment to showing up consistently that makes the real difference.
You know, it's funny. We started this whole conversation talking about how overwhelming all those December donation requests can be. But now, honestly, I'm feeling kind of inspired. It's exciting to think about all the ways we can connect with organizations and support the causes we care about all year round.
That's what it's all about. Giving should feel good, not like an obligation.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So as we head into the holiday season and beyond, let's all challenge ourselves to think beyond that one-time donation. Let's explore how we can make giving a part of our lives all year long.
Beautifully said. It's been great chatting with you today.
Likewise. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.